month or so ago, we decided to take the leap and sell our house. We were concerned of whether it would sell or not. And we quickly found ourselves with our house on the market and realizing we hadn't really thought about where we were going to live. We knew we wanted a ranch. We liked the idea of a brick ranch for the upkeep. And so we began this journey. We started looking at houses with our realtor. And within 10 days, our house was sold. And our realtor got us 45-day out closing instead of 30 to give us time. So initially, it felt like we had lots of time. And we went dancing around the greater surrounding area of Charlotte, looking at many different houses. The first 2 houses we put offers on did not go through.
We were outbid.
There's people that follow us, and they know that if we put an offer on a house, they know it's time to bid. And then we found the 3rd house, and it checked the boxes. It didn't have the fenced-in yard, had a great neighborhood our daughter could walk to. There was a pond in the neighborhood. And we thought this was it. We put an offer on the house. The house had been, there's a lot to the story. It had been remodeled by OfferPad, which is the company we're using. And the mortgage company, which the realtor has been awesome and the mortgage guy has been great. And so our realtor pointed us to this house, even though it was $5,000 over our max approval rate. And he said, go see this house. I can't meet you, but go see it. And if you like it, we'll work something out. We'll see what we can do. So we go see it. It looks great. It was an older home from 1958, the year Don was born, had been remodeled. And so we put the offer in, we get the house. The mortgage guy finds this amazing deal where you put 3% down and the government puts 2%, and there's this whole special program. So amazingly finds this program. We set up for the inspection. I almost decide not to do it. And then I'm like, I really wanted to do a full inspection on this. So that happens Thursday or Friday. We get the report back Friday night. There is so much on there.
Inspection report.
That we didn't expect. So many problems, so many things that they half did. And we talked with our realtor that night, and we had a decision to make. Do we ask for some repairs, knowing they're not likely to do very much, knowing they had done the special thing for us? Or do we terminate the contract and walk? And it was difficult.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Because we thought this was it. We thought we were done with this process. And so we made that decision. We said, no, there's too much here. We wanted to get into a house that didn't need a whole lot of stuff. And so we made that decision. And then we went looking at houses again and put an offer on another house that we thought was even better than the prior house, and didn't get that house.
Outbid again.
So
we're now at a place of putting an offer on actually it's a 5th house.
I was going to wait to tell that.
Oh, ignore that. I didn't say that.
Or maybe it should be in the next. So this is Gina.
And this is Don with Focused Healthy Family. And
a little frazzle brain today. We had to figure out which podcast this was.
Yeah, this is podcast number 80. And today we're talking about choosing choices. So it's a little bit of what would you call that? It kind of sounds weird, choosing choices.
Looking at choices, choosing choices.
But before we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Our sponsor is Q Sciences. I've been a representative for Q Sciences for over a year. I found this company through a friend and did some research and reading about these products. And I really like what I found when I learned about them, the research and time that they've put into the quality of these products to be better absorbed into the body. Things like the vitamin D spray. Our youngest was on a capsule vitamin D, and yet vitamin D levels remained the same with follow-up checkups. And with the spray, it increased
pretty
almost
strong.
double.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking her levels were maybe 20, and I want to say they went up to 47 or something around that range. And the sleep spray is another great one. It's got melatonin, 5-HTP, and I believe another herbal supplement in there. And because it's a spray, you spray it on your tongue, it gets absorbed more quickly into your body to be more effective to help you in the moment. We're using the B12 spray. We've used the vitamin C spray. They have a Q Max product, which is a multivitamin.
And they also have the CBD, different, a variety of different,
It's full spectrum
full
hemp
spectrum, yes.
oils. They even have a THC free version. It comes in different flavors. There is a mushroom
oh yeah,
armor. It's called Q Armor. It's a powder, and I get the chai flavor. Put it in my chai tea for a double chai drink.
so instead of as they say, flushing your supplements down, well, the toilet or the drain, you want to get something like this that's fully absorbed. It's like flushing money down the toilet too, if you're not using a supplement that absorbs well and does well for your body. So that's what Q Science is really about. It's a good, well absorbed, high nutrient product.
They have multiple products. They have child specific products. They now also have some facial cream products. I've been using a night cream to minimize the effects of sunlight and stress and aging on my skin. And they have a hemp lotion. That's also a wonderful product that we've tried. So check us out, learn more. You can find the link at our website,
www.focusedhealthyfamily.com. You can also go to focusedhealthyfamily.com/Q Sciences, the letter Q and Sciences.
with an S at the end.
With the S at the end, yes.
And we're back. Choosing choices.
Yeah.
So making choices, we have a lot going on in our lives. If you've been listening to our podcasts, you know we're having these kind of conversational podcasts right now because we're in the middle of packing up our home. In 2 weeks from Thursday,
We're out of here.
Does this air this week or next week?
Next week.
So in 1 week from today, we have a closing on the house we are living in. And we have just put an offer, got accepted. The 5th house we put an offer on, we got accepted. And the inspection is
going on
happening
as
now.
we speak. It going on. So we're keeping our fingers and toes crossed because
we've made lots of choices. We were wanting a ranch when we went looking. This house is not a ranch. This house is in a county we weren't originally looking in, or in an area we weren't originally looking in. It's a little further north than we thought. Yet it's really close to the highway, which makes it accessible. Robotics is in this direction. Our daughter lives in this direction. Just all these things we were trying to coordinate with this move. And so we made a choice that even though it's a 2-story, it has a large primary bedroom on the first floor.
Yeah, the washer and dryer, all that stuff. Garage is all first level, which is
so we can make our 14-year-old run up and down the stairs and clean the upstairs so we don't have to deal with steps.
But we've had to make a lot of choices
along this process.
Well, and if you think about it, even throughout the last many years, we've had to make more choices, I think, than I feel like most people have. I don't know if that's true, but
I mean, we all have. Yeah, we've had a whole lot jam-packed into a short period of time in our lives, and especially since we said, we're trying to get out of credit card debt. Let's see some options. We looked at refinancing our house, taken a second mortgage, and we're checking those things out and got turned down here and there. And there's these companies, we'll buy your house. We'll buy it as is, we'll remodel. You don't have to have showings. Like, let's just find out about that. That was sometime late summer. I'm not even sure. It feels like
It
a
feels
million
like
years
forever,
ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And we reached out one company, their offer seemed low, and we reached out to another company, and it was like, oh,
No, it's good.
this could be good.
Well, it was offer pad, like we said, and
And so originally they were going to buy it. They anticipated a certain amount of expenses for remodel, but then they come do the inspection and they just found more than they wanted to get into doing. When we heard that news, we were devastated. We thought this wasn't going to happen. And our realtor's like, no, I really think we can sell your house as is. You're in a market. There's not a lot of homes in your price range. You're in an ideal location. There's a lot of possibilities.
well,
And he believed in it and believed in, even though the house obviously has work it needs.
well, also want to separate the idea, that our realtor is part of OfferPad, but he's the contractor.
And it's not a bad company. We're not trying to mouth
No,
the
but
company. It's
what
just
they did with that
that one
house,
house, it was disappointing.
I always think of the term, putting lipstick on a pig in a way. The house looked beautiful, but apparently I think they had some workers that didn't do
Well,
contractors that didn't
well,
do a good job because
we're making assumptions, Don. What really probably happened is there was a whole lot more problems with that house. That our realtor told us that house was a mess when they bought
Yeah.
it, and it probably just turned out to be
More
a
than
whole
that.
lot more repairs than they were expecting. So
Well,
I don't
and-
want to badmouth them.
And he also talked about, because there was another house, the house on Main, that we thought about.
It was a low price,
and it needed a lot
but
of
it
work.
needed a lot of work.
But he said the same. It's kind of
Once you
same
get
idea.
into it,
You never know. Once you peel away certain parts, you find more and more stuff. So that's probably, like, say, what happened with them too.
we don't know.
So
we really don't know.
And one of the other, what were you going to
I
say?
want to get back to what we were talking
Yeah, it was
about.
about choices.
So making these choices so way back, we made that choice to, okay, our realtor believes in that we can sell this house and still get close to that amount of money. And we talked about, okay, how much do we need to get? Because part of our loan approval was paying off credit card debt, but that's going to make us free and clear of all of
Yes.
it.
And our house is, as much as this house needs work, it's done well for us as far as
22 and a half years. We put a lot of money into it. It's a 54-year-old house built the year I was born. And we've put a lot into it, and life has created more
Challenges.
choices for us. And we've chosen to put our money and time into our family and our family's health, and didn't have the energy and time for some of the upkeep of the house. And yet those were choices we made, and I really don't regret it.
Well,
I'm
sorry. We
Go ahead.
oui. Bonjour.
I'm thinking of the signs on the highway that used to call wee signs.
Okay.
We are tired and we have a lot going on, so please forgive
We're a little
us.
goofy too, I think. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I know what it was.
Choices for making
Well,
choices.
it's like kind of talked about before, was how I looked at success.
Mhm.
And it has a lot to do with choices in a way, because I chose to quit my corporate kind of job so that I could be home when we start. This is way back before we
Yeah, I
had
think we talked
kids,
about this at a
you
recent
know,
podcast.
and made the choice to quit and stay home and do more.
And we chose to live on less of an income than
Yeah.
what we had. We literally cut our income in half. You were in business for yourself and you were growing that, but you weren't there yet. So we made the choice to live on less income coming in,
Yeah.
because we wanted to be with our kids. So it was, people used to say to me, oh, I wish I could work part-time. And it's like, well, it's a choice.
Yeah.
We made that choice.
And we took the consequences of it, whatever that might be. I don't know if I want to really call them consequences. We didn't have the high income, the fancy house, and
This house, we wanted a ranch, and it's not. It's a split level, because you could get
It's more like honey mustard.
More. It took me a minute to get that.
It could be an oil and vinegar too. I mean, but
There's a lot of oil and vinegar that's happened in this room.
sorry.
Um,
I don't remember us wanting a ranch when we moved in here.
yes.
We did.
Oh yeah, you've wanted a ranch forever. Your knees have bothered you longer than you
I-
realized. We found one in that really cool
I want
neighborhood
to have
we
some
like.
cows, and I'm gonna have the back 40.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
We found one. Remember the
Cowboy.
one we found that was a 4-bedroom down in Stevens Mill, and we loved the
Oh
neighborhood.
yeah, but it got slipped up.
Well, it was like
so-
contingent,
Yeah.
and it got sold. But we also realized at that time that we were looking at 2 different price ranges, and we were looking in
Yeah.
139, or I can't remember, and we just decided that was going to really stretch us. So instead, we bought this house for 115. It's almost 2,000 square feet. I think it grew over the years, because when we bought it, it was maybe barely 19, and now it's 2,000 square feet.
I
It has-
stretched one wall out a little bit.
It has a half acre. It's a fenced in yard, and it's in a great area. And when we moved here, the outer beltway of Charlotte didn't quite connect to where we live, but now it does. So we can get like anywhere real easily. So we've had a lot of good years here.
So why are we selling it?
It needs a lot of work,
Yeah.
and we're
So-
tired of going up and down stairs.
Yeah. So we've made choices throughout our life, and of course, some choices didn't turn out the best way that we wanted them to, but
The way we expected,
yeah,
rather than saying best. It doesn't always go the way you expect, but everything is working towards our highest good, which is what I believe.
everything moves us forward. Well, we need to have some failings in these.
We need to. That's an interesting way to say that.
We do. We need that
experience
contrast.
I guess I don't want to put out into the universe that we need failings. We experience challenging situations and we label them as failings. Yet
They're really lessons.
it's really the contrast of and very, since Neil Donald Walsh and some other books we've read, how we choose our words. If you say, I want a new house, I want a big house, I want a ranch, from Conversations with God, he says you're putting want out there. You're putting the energy of want, just creating more want, rather than I choose, I am experiencing. And so word choice.
Yeah, because he says whatever you put after I am, or I'm trying to remember how he worded it, talking about it, in fact.
And in that, if you believe in the law of attraction, there's different practices between Christianity and other religions and non-religions and other beliefs that all speak to the same idea of creating.
Creating from.
I had my thought together so beautifully, and then the ending.
Well, creating from here, really. Creating from thought. Thought is creative. I mean, we're really going, this train went off onto a different track, I think, a little bit, didn't it?
Just traveling through the countryside and collecting things as we go. We're taking the scenic route today.
Ever
But we
since
are-
honey mustard, it went.
Oh, I love that. So if this is honey mustard and we're buying a 2-story, but with the maiden bedroom on the first floor,
That's the whole salad there.
we're buying the whole salad. I love it. We are buying the whole salad. That's perfect, because it does feel like that. We knew we were downsizing, but with this house, it has a 2-car garage. We've never lived in a house with a garage as adults.
I'm gonna try to put 3 in there. Expand.
It already has a workbench. Don was planning to put a workbench
it's
somewhere, and
a-
some houses we looked at, it's like, ooh, where would the workbench go? It's
Well,
already-
it needs work, to put the workbench, but what's cool about that, it allows me to change it the way I want it.
it's just, I mean, it's basically
The framework is there.
framework of a bench across the whole back of the garage, right?
Well, and there's also, I think there's shelving on the, but anyway, we digress a little. Our salad.
But I love that idea, is so we think about settling when we were looking at different houses, oh, well, this one is the great house, but this one's a better area. And that whole idea of you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Now we're in
And,
cake.
and
That's after the salad.
no, eat dessert first. Always eat dessert first. And that's, we grow up with that thought. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, you can't have everything. It's not going to be perfect. What are the different things people say to us over the years and that we come to believe that bring us down? And like you said, we need failings. It's like that idea of it has to be hard. Only difficult things are worth it. And just that struggle idea, rather than these are opportunities. These are opportunities for growth.
Well, any of the choices we've made, you have that situation where you have to take the leap forward, not knowing what's going to happen, and just try. Well, because you can make. Well, we talk about the idea of not making a decision is making a decision.
Yes, it's still a decision when you let things happen. It's like with the houses, and after. Well, actually, it was. So we found out that inspection report came out too much. We made the decision to not pursue it. We went looking at houses a day or two later, put an offer on the other house, and thought we were done. I was like, this is it. This is the house. Yes, it's a little further out, but
neighborhood wasn't the
but we'll be close to Lake Wiley, and Lexi wants to go birding, and water is good for birding, and it's going to work out. And we found out, I guess late that night, that we didn't get it, that we were outbid. And I felt devastated by it and just overwhelmed by that experience. And I was talking about this recently with this coaching group I'm part of. I let myself feel that. It was just you and me, and I just let out all the feelings. Like, I try to be positive through this whole process, and okay, that means there's something better out there. And I that's kind of my optimism. That's kind of part of who I am as a person. Yet there's always that part of me that's drained, but I kind of hold back on that. And so I just let it all out. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I just wanted to curl up, and I was like, I don't want to look at houses for the whole weekend. I just need a break from all this. And yet I chose to, okay, we're going to make this work. Our daughter had 2 robotics competitions that weekend. We thought we were done with house hunting. All day Saturday and all day Sunday. I work weekends. I was going to work shorter days so that I could be at her robotics competition for part of the time. And now we had to go house hunting too. And yet we made the choices.
And I think the big part is we made a choice here first, not because one of the things I think that was successful for us or helped us in this, whenever we had the bit outbid or whatever, we took a minute or two to go, oh, that feels, oh, I don't like that, but we pretty much in our mind said, okay, that this means the next thing's, that the good things coming. We kept the mind
was so much on board with that.
It's like, guys, when it's ready, it'll be, when it's right, it's right, kind of thing.
Leader through this,
and he was really good, and I think that made a huge difference. Even when we lost the perfect one, that last one before this, we didn't let ourselves dive too deep into woe is us, blah blah.
Yet we let those feelings
we
out.
did it. We acknowledged the feelings,
and I needed to sit in it. That night I needed to just be sad and cry, because you can't just push the feelings aside. In order to get through that difficult stuff, you really have to feel it, and it just releasing. And it was like finally crying and letting out. People think of depression as someone, curled up and just crying and sobbing. When I'm dealing with depression, it's like I'm numb and I'm disconnected from the world. So when I cry, I celebrate that I'm really feeling my feelings, and I let it all out. And yet I chose to, we all had got up really early on Saturday because she had to be on the other side of town at 7 a.m., which means I got to work super early. I worked 3 hours. I clocked out knowing I had to come back and do more. You and I drove from different directions to meet up here, park one car to then drive
invisible map.
This is Canopolis. This is wherever the robotics was. This is me
And
at
here I
work.
come.
Yeah, well, you were here. You went here to robotics, and then we met here, and then we were looking in a new county up here.
And
That was random.
eating salad.
And we made this choice, right? It's like it was a crazy day. We went and looked at 7 houses.
Wow. Yeah, and he wouldn't let us stop because when we hit that one that I liked a lot, I was ready to,
It's like, I don't
sign
know who's
them.
this.
Yeah.
You got panicky. You're
Well,
like,
that
"We're
other
gonna
couple
do-"
came, that
Yeah.
other family came
in
looking at the house. I'm like, they're gonna take the house,
got to sign on the
And-
dotted line
and,
now. And I was
and
like,
our
let's
realtor
breathe.
wouldn't let us
We had
do that.
3 more houses to look at.
And luckily we went on.
And then, because that house was really cool. It was a 1940s house. Which
Yeah.
I love these old houses, but it had really been remodeled and done right.
Really.
But it was kind of far out there, and it was on an acre of land,
Didn't hit all the check marks.
which we didn't really want extra land.
No.
And the community well was right on the front property, which is interesting. And it did have the septic, which we didn't want.
Well, I think the other part of making choices is you can't wait till all the lights are green.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
the
People say,
idea-
I'm going to wait to get married. I'm going to wait to have kids. I'm going to
gonna
wait.
till I have enough money or and I mean, there's a line there, but with as far as having enough money, but
Yeah.
there's creative ways, we would have never thought we'd been able to get into a couple of those different houses, but they came up with.
We've talked about moving for years.
Yeah.
We bought this house as an investment. We called it our 5-year house. You're like a cat chasing something off the side of the table.
Ah! It's just a book. It'll be okay.
You're like following it up the table. People who have cats understand. Where were we?
I don't know.
Bring it back. Tune it back in. You were just talking about.
Well, we're not waiting till all the lights are green. We've been through that in numerous. When we talked about having kids, it was.
Yeah.
Financially, we didn't look like we were
in the place.
What is this?
I was in the middle of a thought.
Back on the map.
I figured out where we were, and I'm ready to speak, and you're taking it and
I
running.
can take it where I want to go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go have salad.
I'm
You have to-
thinking, and this was I'm ready to have something else to say. So when I do this, it
Well,
means
you do it down here so
it
the public
means-
doesn't see it.
no, because they can help hold you accountable for rambling on without me.
Okay. What did you have to say?
We didn't know that we had the option to really sell this house, get
Yeah.
out of debt, and get into something even better. We felt stuck.
Yeah.
We have had credit card debt over the past 10 years that has built up, and we've refinanced and paid it off. And then things have happened, health problems, children's health problems, and the debt's built up, and we've found a way and paid it off. So this has happened to us numerous times over the years. And, part of it's when you have health problems, I work as needed, so there's no benefits. So then I don't work, and that affects the income. So there's just been a whole lot of juggling going on. So we were kind of in a stuck place.
Well, and some of that is by our choices that we wanted to do a lot of natural stuff, that we did things differently for our kids, for our family, that for health purposes.
Well, we started to believe that we couldn't have it all, that we were stuck here.
Yeah, I think that's.
And those people with money, well, they don't have good relationships with their family, so we don't want to be those people, right? We say these things, or we think them subconsciously, or there's little messages. When you talk about tapping in the messages that you grow up with and the things that you've heard, you might not even really realize it out loud or consciously, but those little messages are wrapped up in there. And so we took a huge leap. First it was just, we're just going to see. And then it's like, okay, we're going to do this. And then it didn't go the way we wanted. And it's like, okay, that means we got to clean up and we got to clear out. And now people have to come see our house, which was a little unnerving. But man, it was nice the 10 days that we were showing the house, because we all made our beds and we kept it a little neater.
We should act like we move every day.
And yet we didn't do what, we didn't make it look spick and span. I mean, it's still, we didn't get all the pictures off the walls, and we didn't do all that because we were selling it as is. And we found the right person who saw the potential in it, and the repairs that were obvious that needed to be done, and the cosmetic stuff that, and so we took this leap, and we found ourselves searching for a house, and we could have got lost in we're not going to find what we can have, or we're just going to have to move super far away, and our kids going to be miserable because they're going to be too far away from their activities. And, we could have gotten lost in that.
Oh yeah, the woe is me kind of mode. And that's, so it's, so maybe let's look kind of wrap up and figure.
Don's wrap up symbol.
On the map.
Which sometimes I have to slow it down because he'll just like, wait, I had more to say. So making choices, we get to choose, we get to decide. And when we experience challenges, we all have different challenges in our life. I've heard some people say, oh, my life is not blessed or magical, or just bad things happen to me. And that's quite a statement to take on, and a belief to take on, because everybody has different challenges. Some have challenges young, in their childhood years. Some don't have them till they're older. I mean, and the challenges look different for everybody, yet they're looking at them as opportunities, and opportunities to make choices. And even if you make choices that you didn't like, it's like, okay, I made those choices. I'm choosing differently next time. I can choose again. It's like whether you're talking to your child or your parent and you say something, go, why did I say that? It's an opportunity to choose again. It's like, okay, I got mad, I yelled at them, and that's what happened. Then we got in this fight. So how can I do that differently next time? How can I make another choice? Right? There's choices all around us, whether it's in communicating, decision making. Don's turning 65,
Medicare.
Going on Medicare, and you made the statement that you don't have a choice. It's mandatory, and it's not free mandatory. There's a minimum payment that you have to make for your basic Medicare. And then you have options there's different options, choices. And so we had to figure that out, all while figuring out a home. And we learned that you could choose a plan, and within 12 months you could change it. And so it's like, okay, let's pick what we think fits now, knowing that we can set that aside because we had the house stuff to figure out.
So it's
prioritizing.
I think an important part of it too is you make a choice, take the leap, but don't beat yourself up if it doesn't go the direction you want. Just, I like to think about, question, okay, well, what does that mean then? If we didn't get that house, what does that really mean? Well, there's a better one out there, which obviously there was.
And don't get lost in trying to find meaning in it.
Well, yeah,
feel the feeling, the disappointment, wherever you're at, and then be like, okay, how can I move forward? How can I make a new choice? Not necessarily, the universe is bad. There's not really a God. These terrible things are happening, but okay, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. It's really more about, and really how we feel, our feelings are a reflection of the choices we make of our circumstances in our life. And that if we expect the circumstances to contribute to our happiness, if we are dependent on outside things for us to be happy, we're giving away our power. And by making choices, no matter what happens, we're taking our power back.
We're creative beings. We can create the direction we want to go and the things we want to do and be and have and all that.
We're choosing our choices. So we would love to hear from you on this topic and everything that we talk about. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast and in our collection of kind of random conversations with Gina and Don as we're in the midst of moving.
And you can choose the next topic. So there's the choice.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. Give us feedback. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, Gina.FocusedHealthyFamily. Reach out on our website, see the workshops we're going to be doing. Reach out and connect with us, ask us questions. Check out our Tuesday tips you can get by email. or a shorter podcast that we air every Tuesday on kind of focusing on one tip for parents as well as caregivers of aging loved ones. And remember, how you speak to your children today shapes their future and yours.